Welcome to the Closing Academy. We are here for part 2 on the dreaded cold call. My goal is to hopefully get you excited, falling in love with prospecting, falling in love with calling random strangers to try and convince them to come buy a car, come buy something from you, a product or service from you, and get as much as you possibly can out of your business. So obviously we talked about the intro on the first one. The intro is what sets up the cold call, is making sure that you're having the right conversations, you're asking the right questions to lead your customer to get to a place that makes the most sense. But today, we're going to talk about the pitch. This is that 30 seconds, 1 minute, 20 seconds, whatever it is, of the meat and potatoes as to why you're calling the customer to try and gain their curiosity, to try and spark interest, to try and spark some conversation with them that will lead to an appointment. The sole purpose of a cold call is not to convince a customer to buy a car. It is not to convince a customer to buy a house or a product. It is to convince a customer on a further conversation with you in-house. So how do we have those conversations? What are some of the things that we can pitch our customer to be able to get exactly what we want from them? So with the pitch, everyone's got a different pitch. So I have seen a couple of things work. I have seen the pitch where it is buying a car, buying the customer's car. I've seen that pitch. I've seen the interest rate pitch. Okay, I've seen that pitch. I've seen the private sale. Okay, I've seen a plethora of different options. I've seen the incentives. Okay, this is when you're like, hey, Mr. Customer, did you just know we just got XYZ, blah, 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 blah. So there's a couple of different things that you can have. This one, a lot of people have that because it's a foolproof method. Hey, you come and tell your customer, hey, we would like to buy their car. This one works. It's great. It's great to get your customer in the door. But at the end of the day, what I found with this customer is if the customer doesn't get what they want, it has a little bit of a friction point, not on the phone, but a friction point in-house. Okay, the interest rate one. The interest rate one is good as well. It gets your customer in the door. It gets you having conversations with your customer about what is actually important. Let's say if you're just cold calling, maybe subprime customers that have higher interest rates that have been in those loans for a period of time, then obviously this is definitely beneficial. Obviously, this then falls apart when you start talking to prime customers. So this predominantly works for subprime customers. And then your private sale is really, really good for those events. Obviously, if you've got an event Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those events are really, really good. But then what do you do and what do you say for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? So that one, obviously, I've seen salespeople get creative on what they do from Monday till Thursday. But this usually works for, what's really good. And the incentives one, in my opinion, it's not really a great option. Why? Because you're calling a customer to basically try and sell them a car. So essentially, you're telling them that you're going to sell them a car over the phone. And essentially for me, why I don't find that the most profitable is because it leads your customer to start asking you questions about interest rate, ask you questions about rebates, ask you questions about options, about features, and you're going into the nitty-gritty of selling them a car as opposed to actually having conversations about what it looks like for that customer to come and talk to you. So for me, for you as a salesperson, you've got to decide what do you want to say? Okay, that's the first thing. You've got to sit down and ask, hey man, like what is the actual thing I want to communicate to the consumer? What do I actually want to communicate to the public? What do I want to tell people? And then sit down with that, write it down, figure out the right words, figure out the right verbiage that's comfortable for you, that's authentic for you, and memorize that so you can say the exact same thing. So I'm going to teach you some of the things that I say, some of the tips and tricks, the techniques, the word tracks, and I'll give you the 2 pitches that I use on a daily basis. It doesn't matter if it's a Sunday, afternoon or it's a Monday afternoon, or it is a Saturday night and you're trying to make a cold call. All of what I have here is going to work for you. Okay? So once you sit down and you decide what you want to say, this is essentially what your pitch is going to be based out of. You have to know what you're going to say, and who it's targeted to. Okay? I have 2 pitches. I like the buy-in pitch. but it's got limitations. I like the interest rate one. It's got limitations. I like the incentives one. It's got limitations. I basically tried to find a pitch that encompassed everything, and I use that as my everyday pitch. It doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will utilize that. And then when we have those special events, I wanted a different pitch for a special event. So I've got two pitches. My first pitch is my go-to. And for anybody that watches me on Instagram, you can go watch me do my go-to. And then I also have a private sale pitch, okay? So private sale pitch is more catered to it not being a cold call anymore. It's what we would call a warm call. Is essentially we've targeted a database. So when I was a GSM, essentially what we would do is we pick the type of clientele we would like to blast. If it's the entire database, it's the entire database. If it's a mega sale, and we'd send them, an SMS blast or an email blast, and then we'd get a list with their phone numbers and their emails of those customers. And then when we called those customers, it's a little bit of a warmer call because they've received some information from you. So this one is what I would call maybe something a little bit more warm. But what you'll find out most often when you call these individuals is they've either received the information and they haven't opened it, or they just haven't gotten the information because either they changed their phone number, they changed their email. So this one is a little bit of what we would call a warmer call, and this is what we would call a cold call. Okay, so let's talk about the private sale first. So what do we exactly communicate in the private sale script that's going to work? Okay, so listen carefully, take out your notepad, write what you need to write down. These are the things that I say, and if you want a PDF of what it is, I will let you know and send it to you personally as to like the PDF of the exact language, and then you can tweak it based on the market that you're at, based on the environment that you're at. So when I call a private sale customer, the first thing that I say is, hey, Mr. Customer, I'm just calling to see if you had received our information that we had sent you about our private sale that's happening on Friday and on Saturday. That's my pitch. Hey, Mr. Customer, did you receive the information we sent you via email or text message about our private sale that's happening on Friday and on Saturday? What's that going to lead the customer to tell me? I'm focusing it as a yes or no answer. Okay? If the customer says no, I have on a piece of paper all the programs, all the incentives, all the biggest discount that we have on the car that I'm going to regurgitate. Okay, so let's say, for example, you guys have a car that's got up to 35 grand off. If it's like a $100,000 car, let's say you've got 0% available. Let's say you've got an extra 2K for the trade. Let's say you've got some spin and win. Maybe you've got, a free maintenance package that you guys are advertising. Maybe it's something free oil change or something. And then I just go regurgitate everything that I have on the piece of paper as to what the private sale is. Okay? So this is what we've got going on. And I just, get everything out. So the customer not only hears one, but they hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different offers, 6 different options that they can tackle. Does that mean that every customer is going to see